We're on the Gloucester and Sharpness Canal. It runs just 16 miles between Gloucester and Sharpness on the River Severn estuary. We have the perfect view from our narrowboat home, across the Severn estuary to the Forest of Dean, one of the surviving ancient woodlands in England. That's Poppy, our 4-year-old boat dog, who's happy with the wide towpaths on this canal, so she can play with her ball.
Oh, really? Ow, that's prickly. That's why she didn't get it. Ready?
And there's Hamish, our much older boy. He's almost 16 now, but still loving life as a boat dog. On our walk from our mooring in Sharpness, we noticed these signs showing the location of sunken boats. We'd heard about the Purton ship's graveyard, so we wanted to explore a little bit more. And there's the site of the old Severn Railway Bridge, with a very sad story about how it came to be derelict now. We made a plan to move up to Purton the next day, to explore the sunken ships a little closer. You worn out, Poppy? You tired? Can you see anything?
Yeah.
What can you see?
Trees, fields, pylons.
Just left Sharpness and we are just taking a little trip back up the Gloucester Sharpness Canal to Purton so we can go and look at the ship's graveyard a little bit closer than we did on the way down. We're in book 2 of the Nicholson's guides. These are the map books we use to navigate while we're cruising. And today's cruise from Sharpness to Purton is only about a mile. You can see the tap and the bin on the map, so we can fill up with water and get rid of our rubbish too. And hopefully find a mooring close to the ship's graveyard. This yacht that passed us was almost exactly the same colour as our boat. It was such a novelty for us to see such a tall vessel on a canal. It was such a different canal to any others that we'd been on. One of the advantages is we can just cruise with our canopy up because we know we're not going under any low bridges. So it saves a little bit of time when we're getting ready to cruise.
Yeah.
And it's not even raining though, so it's not even sheltering you from the rain today, is it?
No, all the sun. It's not sunny either.
But at least it's not windy anymore.
That's true. Yet.
The other benefit of the Gloucester Sharpness Canal is it's so wide that you can just wind and turn around wherever you want. This is one of the old timber ponds where floating timber was stored until it was sold on. used to be so much commercial traffic on the Gloucester and Sharpness Canal, but it's now mostly leisure boaters and liveaboards like us. The Willow Trust provides therapeutic days out on their fully accessible boats for children and adults with disabilities and serious illnesses. That's how easy it is to wind on the Gloucester and Sharpness. Just turned around easily, without any backwards and forwards at all. We filled up with water and then moored at the one spot left by the water point, right next to the main access point to the ship's graveyard. Just taking our rubbish up to Purton, and it's our turn to wait for the swing bridge. The Purton Hulks, or Purton Ship's Graveyard, is a number of abandoned boats and ships deliberately beached beside the River Severn to reinforce the riverbanks. Around the site there are plaques dedicated to the boats and the crew that worked on them, and often dedicated in people's memory. It has to be one of the most fascinating and moving places that we've visited on our travels of the canal network. It was the perfect place to get the drone up so we could see the story from above. Is it not too windy?
No, I think it'll be alright. It's not too windy.
Don't lose it.
It's breezy, but it's not too much.
We've been waiting to come over here until low tide, so that we get a better view out in the middle there, exposed at low tide. A riverbank collapse in 1909 led to concerns that the barrier between the river and the Gloucester and Sharpness Canal would be breached. Old vessels were run aground and soon filled with water and silt to create a tidal erosion barrier. However, not all of the ships were put there deliberately, and we'll come to the story of these two later. The beach vessels included steel barges, concrete ships and Severn trows, which were cargo ships unique to the River Severn. The ships were hulked at high tide by towing them from the dock at Sharpness and releasing them to be carried up the bank on the tide. Holes were then made in their hulls so that they filled with water, and over time silt has been laid down inside them. More boats have been added over the years, and the last boat was beached in 1965. The Friends of Purton is a society dedicated to the research and protection of this and other ships' graveyards. It really is a fascinating place to visit. If you're on a narrowboat, add the Gloucester and Sharpness to your bucket list and come and explore it for yourself. Just a few more minutes walk down the canal are what remains of the Severn Railway Bridge. We walked down to get some drone footage of this too, and saw the yacht that had passed us earlier, moored up by the bridge. The Severn Railway Bridge was built in the 1870s, primarily to carry coal from the Forest of Dean to the docks at Sharpness. On the 25th of October in 1960, in thick fog and a strong tide, the Arkindale H and the Wasdale H had overshot Sharpness Dock and collided with one of the columns of the bridge after being carried upstream. Two bridge spans collapsed into the river. As they fell, parts of the structure hit the barges, causing the fuel, oil and petroleum they were carrying to catch fire. 5 people sadly died in the incident, and the 2 ships remain in place, exposed at low tide. And this is all that remains of the bridge now, as it was damaged beyond economic repair and demolished instead. Thank you so much to everybody that supports our channel through Buy Me a Coffee and YouTube Super Thanks. And as always, thank you to all of our viewers. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up and give us a like. And leave us a comment and tell us what you thought.
You are my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. We got everything here, at least to stay alive, and the time that we share makes it all worthwhile. Got this place on our own. Do you feel that we got something strong? And I saw you